Hello my dear friends, you're in the Military with Summary channel. In this short video we're going to discuss the most important updates that took place during the previous night at the local time. First we're going to start with Romania. Today the local authorities reported that Romania is going to shut down the drones that will move in direction of the Danube River or something like the settlements of Romania, or if there are like explosions and attacks is going to take place very close to the border of this country. And I was very surprised when we got a few weeks ago updates that some parts of Russian drones fell down on the territory of Romania, and we haven't seen any consequences of those attacks. So probably now we're going to see something, because this is, for example, the photo that took place like a few days ago, that there were even few explosions on the territory of Romania without any consequences for the Russians. So now I believe that Western countries took a decision to change their positions regarding this question, and they're going to use this case as the approval or permission to start shutting down the Russian air drones. Now we are moving to the Decisive area, and today we got some updates from this territory. Probably one of the most important ones is that the Russians started or continued bombing and attacking Decisive itself. You know that yesterday in the evening I thought about that. I asked myself why the Russians stopped attacking and bombing Decisive itself. Maybe they were too focused on the south in Bradley Square. Maybe the Russians were forced to redeploy some aircraft forces closer to Kherson area, and mainly the Russian air forces were like focused on bombing and attacking the settlements like Kazatsky, or the settlements that located along the Dnieper River. But today the Russians published some video how they were attacking and bombing and shelling the settlement, the railroad station with artillery, with fab bombs and so on, which means that this territory still, this sector is still the main direction of the Russian defense, and they will concentrate all types of weapons they have. When talking about interesting geolocations, today we got one on the western part of Rabotina. According to this video, as you can see, the Russians were bombing and attacking the Ukrainian infantry who was moving along the forest lines, along the tree lines in the western part of Verbovo. Not just in the western part of Verbovo, but basically in Verbovo itself, because from this line it's like a strict fire position to attack the Russians inside the settlement and buildings. So basically we can say that on the 16th of September, based on this geolocation, we can say that the first phase of the storming operation of Verbovo from the Ukrainian side has started. As we can see, the Ukrainians managed to move their forces as close as possible. There are no more barriers in front of Ukrainians when talking about like tree lines or like trenches. They're right in front of the settlement, and as I understand, maybe even this week, maybe even today, the Ukrainians will launch their first waves of attack in the settlement itself. First of all, the Ukrainians need to dig in deeper, at least in the west-northern part, to establish some foothold to allow the forces from the mainland to redeploy in this direction. From the other side, we see that the Ukrainians try to improve their positions on the south and try to take control over this territory, yet they haven't managed to do this because there are still Russian positions and they need to do a lot of job before they are able to force the Russians to step back. But currently the Ukrainians, this is probably the priority target for them. We see complete absence of any movement from Ukrainian side in the western flank of this area, in the vicinity of Rabotina, or in the southern one in the vicinity of Prokopovka, and currently the Ukrainians are completely focused in the direction of Verbovo. The Russians continue bombing and attacking Rabotina itself. Today the Russian sources published a lot of videos how they continue bombing and attacking, which confirms that there are still a lot of Ukrainian soldiers, there are still a lot of Ukrainian armored vehicles and forces. The Ukrainians continue their concentration process. As we understand, this is not an easy job because of like heavy fire from the Russian side, but this is like ongoing process, and sooner or later the Ukrainians will complete the concentration, and after that they will launch another wave of attack to the south in direction of Prokopovka, and probably from two directions, from Rabotina and with the forces of 47th to 65th Brigade, and from the Prokopovka salient. Another video how the Russians were bombing the settlement using TAS flamethrower systems. So the situation is the same. The only difference with the previous days is that the battle for Verbovo, real battle for Verbovo, has started. And now we're moving to Vremevka tactical bridgehead. On this direction we have just one geolocated video. After yesterday, Ukraine failed attempt to attack among the fields that we discussed in details, that battle when the Ukrainians 4 personal carriers got on minefield and under artillery fire were completely destroyed and were forced to step back. The Russians started clearing and attacking and bombing the Ukrainian positions on the east of Urozhaine along the 3 lines. If we take a look at this video, we won't see destroyed vehicles, just the clashes, just artillery strikes. And as you can see, the Russians were bombing the fortifications and perimeter around Urozhaine without any changes on the ground. So it's very difficult to say whether they are going to attack or not. Now we're moving further, and we will finish this video with the Andreevka-Klishchiivka area. Yet we haven't received even a single confirmation that the Ukrainians managed to establish control over Andreevka, even a single video, but the Russians published at least 2 geolocated videos of their saved presence in the northeastern part of Klishchiivka. On this video we see a very big Russian platoon that was moving closer to the railway station. There was moving, as you can see, very slowly without being afraid of nothing. At some point the Ukrainians started bombing them, but as you can see, it didn't change the Russians behavior, mood. They will continue moving, maybe some of them a little bit speed up, but anyway, the situation in this area obviously tell us that the Russians control the railways, controls this part of Klishchiivka, but also we got another geolocation from the Russian side, how they were attacking the Ukrainian positions in the central part, to be more precise, in north central part of Klishchiivka with FPV drone, which confirms that this part of Klishchiivka is under complete Ukrainian control. So just a small island, just a few blocks, just a few dozen of buildings are under Russian control, and the rest of Klishchiivka is under complete Ukrainian control. When talking about Kupiansk-Liman, just one important update, that the Russians since these weeks, since these days, started bombing and attacking the Ukrainians in Petropavlovka using FAB 500 and FAB 250 bombs and a lot of explosions, as you can see. And this is something new. We haven't seen these types of video with FAB 500 in this direction, and currently we see that something has changed in the Russian tactics and the Russian approach in this direction. And that's it for this short video. Military Summary channel reminds to condemn any violence in the world. Thank you for watching. Subscribe to my channel, put your likes, join my Patreon, and have a good day. Bye bye.